the saints can help us if we can contact them, because they express and live from the manifestation of the omniscience of God's presence. That's why. Someone has asked, what good are the saints? Well, I think I have answered it, but one thing we must realize, that they delight the soul. Why? Because they are in favor with God. They have God contact. And because of that, they express that joy and optimism which we all need so well. In this world we find pessimism exists, and because of that it's not a very good place to live. But the saint is one with the omniscience of God, which is bliss. And therefore the saint expresses that great optimism which we need. And that is very, very, very refreshing. I used to go to the Master with a list of troubles that long. But when I came into his presence, I forgot to ask the question. And it was very refreshing, because the saint expresses the unity of God's presence, which is one thing, peace and bliss and joy, which we need especially at this time, do we not? Now, godliness is what the saints express. Throughout the ages they have lived at all times. But they have one common language, and that is the language of the soul, which is the bliss of God's presence. And they express that. And they also know that in this outward living there is no satisfaction. They know that the pleasures of this life are very short-lived, and therefore they have found that lasting presence of God. Having found that, they are free from disappointments, and they express the bliss of God's presence. That's what the saints have done. Saints have risen above the duality of this consciousness, and they have reached the heights. They have reached the heights of attainment by realizing their oneness with God, that's all, and each and every one of us can do that, because Jesus even said that. The things I shall do, I do, ye shall do, and greater things. And so the saints have attained the height. They have risen above this consciousness in which we find disappointment and all sorts of trouble. But they have shown right in this existence here now that that can be attained right while living on this earth, no matter what your business is or what your occupation is. You can find God and you can take him right with you in everything you do. What good is God unless you can do that? And of what use are the saints? If you follow them and have what they have, the omniscience of God, then you too can reach the heights, and you too can be happy in spite of this delusion of this outward existence. Realize that one great thing. Master has written one thing I'd like to just say or read to you. Untiring in their efforts, he says, the saints obliterate pessimism. Well, you can't obliterate pessimism unless you know something that is far exceeding this worldly consciousness. I don't blame anybody for being pessimistic here in this life. The paradoxes are uncalled for, and the injustices are evident. But the saints do not stop there. The saints, by showing through true living that we are really not slaves, but free divine children of God, not bound by the laws, but because we are essentially divine, that we can rise above this outward consciousness to the omnipresence of God. Now, aren't those wonderful words? That's what the saints have done. That's what we can do. Because what is a saint? You all know the answer. a sinner that didn't give up. And you and I are not going to give up, because sometime we've got to keep on and reach the goal that the saints have reached. And so we must never forget that because the saints have superseded this outward worldly consciousness and are alive in the all-knowing, ever-attentive omnipresence of God, that they are approachable instantly if you but know how to contact God. That's the first thing we must remember about the saints. And the second thing is very important, that the teachings which the saints live, if you follow them, also will lead you to the omnipresence of God, the all-knowing, ever-attentive presence of God, omnipresence of God. So those two things remember. Many people think because the Master is gone, he's not approachable. Certainly he's approachable. He's approachable through his teachings, which lead to what? To the realization of the omniscience, the omnipresence of God. Jesus said that very thing. Jesus said, when I am gone, what will I do? I will send you the Comforter. What is the Comforter? The Comforter is the Holy Ghost, the holy vibration, in which is the omniscience of God. That's what the Comforter is. He also said, heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not, will not. Words which he spoke from that Comforter, that holy vibration. And so we have the testimony of Jesus. Also, our own Master said in one of his poems, when I am but a dream. I'm saying this because this refers to the teachings which saints leave when they have gone. He said in his poem, when I am but a dream, when you cannot locate me in unplumbed space, when you cannot find me, read my whispers of eternity. And through them, through my teachings, I will walk silently by your side and guide you with all-knowing arms until you realize, as I now realize, that I am but a dream of my cosmic beloved, the one omniscience of God. When you realize that, we will be together eternally. Isn't that wonderful? So through the teachings of the great ones, we can contact the omniscience in which they dwell. Now a few more scriptural references about saints, showing the availability of them, which is very important.